Good morning, everyone. I'm Braulio Rosa, the Executive Director of the Broward County Bar Association. And it is morning, and it is April 7th, 2021 in the morning. And actually at sundown today in Israel, they will be remembering Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, which I personally think it's important that we all are reflective during that time. But it's my honor and privilege to have a wonderful community leader, Broward County Bar Association board member, past president of B'nai B'rith Justice Unit, uh, and just an overall great guy, partner at Kelly Cronenberg. And it's my honor and privilege to have my friend today, Louis Reinstein, to talk about this a little bit. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks, Braulio, for having me. It's an important topic, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about what the actual day is? And then please elaborate and tell us a little bit about why it's important for all of us, even, even for us that are not Jewish, but to remember and to be reflective during this time, why it's so important.
Yeah, thank you. So Yom HaShoah, which actually the full name in Israel is Yom HaShoah VeHaGevurah, and it's literally the day of remembrance of the Holocaust and the heroes. And that's important because the day remembers not only the victims, but it also remembers the survivors. And the particular day coincides with the beginning of the Warsaw Uprising in 1943. And when Israel had to determine a day to memorialize all of the victims of the Holocaust, the 6 million plus victims, they decided that it's not just about the victims. There are people who survived the Holocaust, but are still suffering. And it is their survival that has allowed the Jewish state to survive and to grow. And if those people didn't make it out of the Holocaust, we may not see any Jews in Europe or anywhere today. One thing that I wanted to say specifically as to the importance to the legal community is that, when we talk about remembrance, and most people hear about the phrase "never forget," right? Remember, and in Hebrew, zachor, and that's the common refrain when we talk about the Holocaust. But in the legal community, we can think about it as the importance of being a witness, and any lawyer. Who, whether you're doing transactional work or litigation, you need a witness. You need a witness on your document, or you need a witness in court. And when we think about the Holocaust today, we think about the survivors as the living witnesses. And there are not many more years for the survivors to tell their story. And when you hear from a survivor today, they say, I was there, I saw, I remember. And when they tell us the story today, we become the witness to the witness. And nowadays there are people out there who still are denying the existence of the Holocaust. And when they see movies that are great films that tell a history, whether it's the Holocaust or any history, but the history is not, it's the made for movie type history, and people don't believe. And one of my professors, actually before I got my law degree, I earned a master's degree in Jewish studies at Emory University, and one of my professors, Deborah Lipstadt, who's written many books, one of her recent books on the history of anti-Semitism. And she actually had to defend a libel claim in the United Kingdom against her because she called out a denier, and she had to essentially a Holocaust was put on trial, and she had to bring witnesses to testify as to the existence of the Holocaust. And so we know there are people out there, and we know the importance of being a witness, and we know the importance of remembering. And the lesson from that is that if we don't remember, if we don't realize that the atrocities of the Holocaust were actually enacted by the elected Nazi government, the German government at that time. And while there were many people who disagreed and there were many people who tried to fight back, there were laws enacted to legitimize the killing of Jews and others. We know the LGBTQ community. We know the anti-fascist community. So we know that the laws can be used for bad purposes. And for the legal community, we know that we have to always be alert. We know that there are other communities, not just Jewish community facing anti-Semitism. We're seeing a rise in anti-Semitism around the world today. This should alert us that when we say never again, if we really mean it, we have to make sure that there's no tolerance for anti-Semitism. And we say the same in, we see the hate and we see the violence in the Asian community. We see it in the LGBTQ community. We hear it now, laws against transgender. And it's worth noting all of that because Zahor, remember, and never again is it's bigger than just what happened in the past. It's about facing the evil that still confronts us today.
Let me tell you something, my friend. I think you've said it all. I don't know that we need to go any deeper than that. I want to, well, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I appreciate the opportunity. I hope that that people who listen to this will take a moment and do your Google search and go to Yad Vashem, go to the Holocaust Memorial Museum website or the Yad Vashem Israel's Memorial Museum website and listen to the testimony. Find a survivor in your community, listen to their testimony, and be a witness to the witness. And say never again and mean it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Louis.